Throneblood, a royal rebellion. Tale. The girl with dirt on her feet. They called her Mouse. She scrubbed chamber pots in the royal wing, ate scraps with her fingers, slept in the scullery between a broken harp and a sack of onions. She wasn't a servant. She wasn't even staff. She was a mistake, left behind by a courier or a maid, or a night no one wanted to remember. She grew up in shadow and ash, watching princes drink gold and queens wear blood-red pearls from nations she'd never see. By 16, Mouse knew 3 things. The smell of a noble's boots told you how cruel they were. The softest velvet always came with the sharpest lies. And every crown, every single one, was paid for in someone else's screams. Second, the crown prince choked on a peach pit. It wasn't rebellion yet. It was bad luck, they said. The prince, heir to the sun throne, beloved by the court, choked on a peach pit during a feast. People wept, women fainted. The queen shattered a glass with her scream. But Mouse had been in the kitchens. She saw it. The way the pit was shaved on one side, slivered with dried root, the kind that numbs the throat. Poison disguised as fruit. She didn't tell anyone, because the boy who died had once held her down with his boot just to hear her beg, and his last word had been, mine. There. How to kill a monarch without touching them. They taught Mouse to stay quiet, but silence is a weapon too. She learned the palace like a predator learns a cage, where the hinges creaked, which guards dozed after mead, which princesses whispered the truth behind silk fans. She served them tea. She mopped their blood. She watched them forget her face again and again. And then she started taking things. A comb made of obsidian, from the king's mistress. A ring of keys from a wine-sick steward. A book of forbidden languages, stuffed into the mattress of a dead handmaid. Bit by bit, Mouse turned into Marrow, the name she found in the book. A name that meant the inside of the bone, the deepest part. Marrow knew things. Marrow saw how power rotted from the inside out. The 4th, the first fire. The next to die was Princess Leora, found burned to death in her dressing room. Flames, they said, leapt from a candle knocked during a fit of grief. But Marrow had replaced the wax with tallow laced in accelerant. It only needed one spark. And Leora had laughed, actually laughed, when the steward beat a servant girl half to death for stealing bread. Marrow waited outside the door and listened to her scream. And when it ended, she stole the princess's perfume and whispered, "That one's for the girls." V. A ball for the bleeding. When the king finally announced a new heir, the court fawned. It would be Princess Sorella, noble, soft-spoken, untainted by scandal. They held a ball with sugar towers and string quartets, and Marrow walked into it wearing the princess's perfume, a silk gown stolen from a corpse, and a forged name that no one dared question. She didn't speak. She didn't bow. She danced, with dukes, with generals, with the girl who ran the war plans. She smiled as spies whispered, because poison isn't always in the food. Sometimes it's in a glance, a rumour, a name spoken in the wrong ear. By midnight, 3 nobles were in tears. 2 fled the palace. 1 confessed to crimes he hadn't even committed. And the queen's hand trembled when she lifted her goblet. Marrow watched, waited, said nothing. The real poison came later. 6. The mouse becomes the monster. There is a moment, right before rebellion becomes regime, when the world goes quiet. No one knew who the saboteur was, only that the treasury had been emptied. The queen's handmaid was missing, and every single name in the line of succession had either died, vanished, or been caught in scandal, The nobles argued, but the commoners, they whispered about a girl with mud on her feet and fire in her mouth. They said she knew how to make a king forget his name. They said she spoke like someone who remembered the last empire's fall. They said she didn't want the throne. She wanted to burn the throne room and build a table where no one had to kneel. Svern, the last crown. When they found the queen, she was alone in her rose chamber, writing names in a book that bled ink. Marrow stood over her in silence, barefoot, mud still drying between her toes. "I remember you," the queen said. "You're the kitchen rat, the piss girl." Marrow nodded. "And you're the woman who carved kingdoms from corpses. How proud your gods must be." Then she handed her the last peach, the one the queen always hoarded, refusing to share with anyone. The queen took one bite, wept, and died quietly. Marrow left the body on the throne, didn't bother to move it. She walked outside barefoot into the square. People saw her, not as a queen, not as a ruler, but as one of them. A girl with nothing left to lose and everything to build. 8. The future has teeth. Now they call her Bloodmouth, the girl who killed her way to freedom, the peasant who wrote new laws in ash, the orphan who tore down a palace with nothing but stolen lace and a lie. And when children ask how she did it, how she rose from piss girl to power, she tells them, "Don't wait for permission. Power isn't passed down. It's taken with clean hands or not at all."